Hello and welcome back to the Pet Business Wellbeing podcast with me, Nathan Dunleavy. This is the podcast where we talk about the realities of running a pet business, the highs, the challenges, and most importantly, how to look after your well-being while you do it. Because running a business should support your life, not consume it. Jay Gurden, welcome to the Pet Business Wellbeing podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
You are most welcome. You are my first guest on my new podcast. So no
Shiny.
pressure. No pressure, but I'm so excited to have you as my first guest on today. For those that may not be familiar with you or your work, please could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a self-confessed dog geek. Started out my life with dogs on a sheep farm with working sheepdogs. And I think as many of us who find ourselves in working with dogs do, I got a dog that was not quite normal. Bless him. I love him to bits, but he's not normal. He had extra challenges that I had to learn how to deal with, and that brought me over to the science side of dog behaviour. And led me down such a rabbit hole. This is now what I do.
I love it. It's so funny, like our special doggies get us into this industry. It's the same with me and my SA dog, and the same with you and your special boy.
It's kind of him that actually led me into what we're going to be talking about today as well. It's because of him that I started writing.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
because of all the studying that I did for him and the writing that I did, that is also what led to me becoming a tutor.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually sort of working with the next generation of trainers and behaviourists who are coming up as well. All because of this one dog who just needed that little bit more than usual.
Yeah. Just needed that bit of extra support. And I love that because so many of us, we get into this industry and we fall into it because of our own dogs. And then we just want to help them. We want to get a better understanding and then we want to help others. So I think it's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the majority of the people that I've talked to, they can track it back to a moment, a dog, whether it's their own dog or someone that, a client's dog that they've walked, something that has led them down a particular path to where they are today.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love that. So you're a published author.
Yep.
We might touch on this in a bit later, but I put a post out earlier today that someone said that I've got a book in me as well. And I know we've touched briefly on this because you do like a mentorship for...
I mentor dog writers, yes.
I was just about to say, what do you call book? I was just about to say book people, but it's for aspiring authors or dog people and stuff. So I randomly had a message out the blue on Instagram, which I didn't even know I had. It went into a funny inbox on Instagram and it was from February and it's from like a publishing consultant that said they like what they've seen me doing and have I ever thought about putting my canine expertise, experience, my mentorship stuff into a book. And never in a million years would I even have thought about writing a book. It's not on my radar. I'm not even going to say I'm doing it because I've got so much I'm doing and maybe in the future. But two people on my other podcast that I host, the Yappy Hour, both have said, you've got a book in you, Nathan. And then that's sown the seed.
I totally agree. I think you've got a great book in you. So many of the dog books are quite serious and formal, and they can feel quite tricky. I started out writing for people who were looking for help. They were looking for support. So that, it puts a different aspect on it because you write in a different tone. When someone's looking for help, my very first book was about life with my special dog, my dog with reactive behaviours. And I was writing to help the people like me. When I first started out, I had no clue what was going on. And I think with your style, with the way that you do things in your mentoring, I think you've got a great book in.
Okay, interesting. Wow, I did say I might come to you for help in the future, but let's park that anyway, because this is all about you and the subject we're going to be talking about today. So, Jay, your book, Conquering Confidence, that's a bit of a mouthful. Conquering Confidence. I've got a copy here with me. Absolutely. Wow, I need to read it. It only came the other day. I mentioned it to you, but I want to read it because it's such an important subject, and it's something that us as pet pros, pet business owners, imposter syndrome, we all quietly battle with it. Until I became a dog trainer, I'd never experienced or suffered with imposter syndrome in all of my corporate career. So, to get us started, what does imposter syndrome look or feel like in real life for people in our industry?
It's one of those things that can look very different for different people. And it does seem to be very prevalent in our industry. I think our industry is quite social media driven. There's a lot of presence out there, which means you can spend a lot of time comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
And there's a great saying that I can never remember where it comes from. Comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes.
And that just sums it up for me. I think probably the main thing that people identify with is just feeling like they're not good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not good enough to work with people. They're not good enough to work with the dogs in front of them. And particularly that there are other people around who are better for whatever reason. So, they think that, I don't know, whether it's like one of the social media savvy people who have those lovely flash edited videos. Every time someone comes to me to talk about their imposter syndrome and they bring me an example of that, I will sit them down and say to them, how many takes do you think there were to get that one good shot?
That's true. Yeah, you
Because
don't think about that.
no, we look at these things on social media, these really snazzy videos, and that is the edited highlights reel.
Of course. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could have taken them about 100 takes. You're only
They
going
could
to
have been
see
there
that
for a week
perfect.
just to get that 1 10-second shot. You don't know. So
You don't
comparing
know.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it is much more widespread than I think people believe. There was a study done in 2019 where they
Okay.
actually asked a group of all adults, all of whom had been in their jobs for at least 3 years. And they asked them if they ever had any intrusive thoughts about their ability to do their job. 80% of people said yes.
That's a high
Yeah.
percentage.
Yeah.
Blimey.
But these people had never heard of the term imposter syndrome. Now, it's becoming more widely known in the last few years.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was something like 70% of men and 90% of women.
More women than men.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was actually
Okay.
first identified in the 1970s as being a problem that was specifically relation to women. And it took a few years on before it was found that men could have imposter syndrome as well.
Mm.
And I think, was it 85% of those people who had these intrusive thoughts had them all the time?
Okay.
And when you think about I think how bad it feels when you have those days of thinking, who the hell am I to be doing this? Why am I doing this? And again, it was my writing that brought me to thinking about imposter syndrome, because I wrote my first book, I released it, and it turned out I looked at it, I thought, who the hell are you to write a book?
Ah,
Who is
see,
going to want to read what you wrote? No,
this would be my thoughts. This would be my thoughts exactly. Like, who the hell's going to want to read what I've... I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know if I could bloody write a book. I'd probably get stuck on the first page.
I had all of those thoughts, and it's a funny little book, my first one. It's not the book that I write now. And in actual fact, my other book on reactive dogs is the book that I would have wanted to write at the time.
Okay.
But obviously I was further in my learning journey, my writing journey then. But that first little book has sold over 1,000 copies.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
And I was a complete nobody when that came out. I was fortunate to have some people behind me supporting me and pushing me on. But I was essentially a complete nobody. When that one first came out, I wasn't even doing the tutoring.
Right. Okay. So when did Conquering Confidence come out then? Was that after?
That was the third book.
So what made you write this book then? Recognizing and combating imposter syndrome. Was it because of how you were feeling or what your students were telling you? How did it all come about?
Again, that one actually came out before I really got into the tutoring.
Oh, okay.
And it came from my own
Interesting.
imposter syndrome.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that when I identify a problem, I'm straight down the rabbit hole. I will go and I will learn everything I can about it, which informs me of my imposter syndrome personality type, which we'll get onto later.
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
there's science. There is science.
Oh, we love some
But
science.
I went straight down this rabbit hole. I did all this research to try and see why I was feeling like this and what I could do about it. And I happened to mention to somebody that I had done all of this study, this looking at it. Why don't you write a book about it? Which, of
No
course,
way.
I had imposter syndrome about my imposter syndrome at that point. How can I write about imposter syndrome? I'm not a psychologist.
What a
But
vicious circle.
it was an interesting time in my head. It really was. But the more I sort of sat and thought about it, I thought, well, I'm kind of writing about imposter syndrome, but I'm also think about structuring it to help other dog people. Because there are so many dog people who are brilliant at what they do. They're brilliant with people. They're brilliant with the dogs. But this annoying, nagging little voice in their head will hold them back from doing what they can do. And there are so many people and dogs that they could help.
Yeah.
And have helped, but can't recognise that. So that's why I sort of sat down to write it. And I started it out. The very first chapter was about me and my imposter syndrome. Just sort of say, look, I know how you're feeling because I've been here.
Yeah.
But then I started the first chapter proper with a whole list of famous people like David Bowie, Tom Hanks, Neil Armstrong, all of whom had imposter syndrome. The first man to walk on the moon had imposter syndrome. I mean,
Blimey.
what hope have we got?
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, walking on the moon, I think I'd have imposter syndrome. I'd be like crapping my pants.
Yeah, it wouldn't been. I could do it, but
No.
to have done that and then to get back and think, well, I haven't done anything important. It's just this is how pervasive this thing can be.
Yeah.
There's the very first Latina Supreme Court judge in the US. She has imposter syndrome. People you would never think in a million years. One of the Williams sisters. One of the greatest tennis players to have ever played.
Yes, I think I've heard this. Yes, yeah. I've heard something along those lines. Yeah, you wouldn't have ever have thought it, would you?
No, but people who are objectively incredibly successful.
Very talented.
Yeah, but they still struggle with these thoughts. So
yeah,
I actually, when I read that, I found it was kind of comforting, because if they struggle with this, it's not so bad that I do, really. And it helps you cope with it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think with them as well, obviously being in that environment, being a tennis player, I think it's like so much pressure, isn't it? And obviously I guess she might be comparing herself to her sister and God, yeah, I would.
Relate to it quite a lot as well. There are some recognised things that can play into it, including from sort of back into childhood. So there are some factors that can kind of predispose.
Yeah.
But one of the things that seems to be particularly problematic is if you are part of a minority in an industry.
Right. Oh, okay.
Because there's kind of this, I suppose, this extra pressure on you because you're part of a small community within the community. So, that's something that can seem to have a large effect on it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think, like you said, obviously now we've got all this social media, we've got TV programs, unfortunately, especially in our industry, you do see like certain types of dog trainers, for example, and they may have like these amazing marketing budgets and you just see like the dog, whatever, spinning around or doing tricks. Unfortunately, now we've got all that. We do compare ourselves more to that, don't we?
Definitely. There's this feeling of, well, if they can do that in that timescale, why can't I? Which completely ignores the fact that, like we said earlier, it's an edited highlights reel. There could have been hours of training going into that moment. And with some of the trainers, there are less desirable things going on to get the behaviours that are said. And those, unfortunately, are some of the most successful social media trainers, are the ones that use
Exactly.
tools. That kind of leads to a general feeling of struggling with things, which, when you're down to yourself as well, can make you feel even worse.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And I guess like because we're in an age now where we do want things done quickly as like humans, and I know obviously pet parents out there that are probably doing some training or having some problematic behaviors, like we do want everything done yesterday, and we want the quick fixes. So people are not necessarily prepared to put in the work. So then when they see all this fantastic, like super duper stuff going on social media and YouTube and TV shows, they like, oh well, they can do it quickly. Like, why can't I?
Yeah, I think we all know a TV show in particular that really drives all of us dog professionals nuts, because it makes it look so simple. And when you look at these things going on, especially with the TV programs, there are some great breakdowns of what's actually going on
Mm,
in the shots from some fantastic behaviour people. But
mm,
there is this public perception that this is good, and
yeah.
especially if public perception doesn't fit with the way in which we want to work, you know, from an ethical standpoint, that can put
Mm,
pressure on as well, because you've got clients who are pressuring you because they want those quick results, because we live in a quick fix society.
mm,
And working with animals, it doesn't really work like that. You're working with another sentient being. You have to take
ex-
them into consideration. And then there's the
yeah.
whole, what is underlying the want to have these particular behaviours. Obviously, I know you've worked with Andy Hale. It's one of my absolute favourite people in the behaviour world, full stop, not just the dog world. And he did this fantastic talk a while ago, looking at task versus team.
Yeah.
So looking at being obsessed with getting a result, which is what so many of the pet parents want, because that's how they think it works, as
Mm,
opposed to building the relationship and, putting the effort into that side of it rather than looking for quick results. That
mm,
also can really play into your kind of mental feeling about how you're doing, and how what you do relates to expectations from clients.
yeah. Yeah. Do you think then, us or anyone as like a dog trainer, for example, ethical dog trainer, when they see like these types of videos and they're then comparing themselves to that, do you think that they then don't want to put themselves out there for fear of rejection or
Absolutely.
ridicule or
Putting
bad
yourself
press?
out there is terrifying.
I know, yeah. I mean, doing this podcast is bloody terrifying. Being a guest on ones is as well. I was like so nervous.
Fun enough, it doesn't worry me anymore. I
Yeah,
was
well, you're a
terrified the
pro.
first time I did it.
You're a
That
pro.
I did a recording a couple of weeks ago for somebody, and they said, "Oh, yeah, you're a pro at these now." And I'm like, "Really? Am I?" I'm looking around behind me for a more pro. It's like good at adulting, so yeah, it just doesn't really work. But yeah, it is absolutely nerve-wracking, and problem is, our industry is so fractious. It really is.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's
mm.
not just the aversive versus the non-aversive people. Even inside, like the force-free side, there's the you're not force-free enough.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it does get really, really fractious. And the problem is that when you put yourself out there, you put content out there, you will get comments, and you will get negative comments.
So
It
you've
happens.
almost, yeah, like you've almost got to have them because I don't feel as ethical, force-free individuals. I don't know or feel that we do it enough. We don't put ourselves out there enough, but I think that's because we're worried about the negative comments. So you've almost got to have like a thick skin, haven't you? And
You have, and
kind
you
of
also have to know the little tricks. There are little tricks,
okay. Oh,
especially on
are there?
Facebook. because that's where most of my content goes out, is on Facebook. And obviously I post several times a week, and everything that I post on my page, it's all ethical, it's all force-free, it's all positive reinforcement based. So I get the EJITs on, because you just do.
Egypt.
Yeah, you get the aversive lot and the balance lot in. And the problem comes, if you delete their comments, they will know that they've been deleted, and they will go and summon all of their friends to pile on the comment section. There's a trick. There's a trick. Don't delete the comments, hide the comments. They can still see them, their friends can still see them, but nobody who's going to be negatively affected by them will be able to see them. They don't know they've been hidden, so they don't summon all their friends to come and pile. There might still be occasional pile-ons anyway, because that's just what they do.
Right.
But you will avoid a lot of it just by hiding their comments.
I had no idea that by hiding them that they could still see it.
Oh, they still see it, yeah. They still see it, and
That's
their friends
brilliant.
and their page followers still see it, but nobody who is not their friend or a follower of their page can see it.
Right, okay.
So they've got no idea. So it's just kind of enhancing your calm.
I know you can like turn on a thing that limits who can comment, so only established followers can comment.
Yeah, I don't tend to do that. I just go through and hide. To be quite honest, a lot of the time, I only periodically go back and check comments just to see if there's anything that needs an answer. I've actually learned to, a lot of the time you post and you just let it go. If you're happy with what you're posting, just let it go out there. Let it do its thing. Because even if you do get the idiots posting in the comments, other people will filter out the good. And if you're really lucky, Shay Kelly will pick it up and do a meme about a comment in your comments.
And then that just goes bloody viral through the roof with Shay Kelly.
But he's definitely got the skin for it, bless him.
He has. I don't know how he has, but I don't know. I'm a bit sensitive. I don't know. I do worry about what people think, and I'm a bit sensitive. But Andrew Howe's made me realise, well, they're just my superpowers, and it's who I am. So there's no point changing.
He said something to me once. The very first time I met him, actually, we were just sort of first time I met him, and we were just sort of having a very quick chat. And he just, I just want to thank you for putting yourself out there and making yourself vulnerable. I thought, am I? Shit.
Yeah.
But then actually, I'm putting myself out there and saying, this is what I do. I'm not apologetic for it. You know, this is how I work. And you do kind of develop that thick skin. But what it takes to do that is you've got to force yourself out there. There's a thing. There's a great book written by Susan Jeffers, and the title of that is a slogan that I live by, which is feel the fear and do it anyway.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So you acknowledge the fear, you know it's there, but it doesn't stop you.
No.
You prove it wrong, because the more you can prove it wrong, the more you will silence that little voice, that little niggling voice in the back of your mind going, you can't do this, because I bloody have.
Yeah, that's great. And Andrew's very good at he curates his news feed and his followers, so he can see what he wants to see, and he doesn't have to see all the crap or whatever. But he did say that obviously because you are putting yourself out there, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and he does get some hate, bless him, for his stuff. Well, it's his profile, so he can post what the hell he wants.
Yeah. But I do recommend, one thing I pick out from it, you say curate your feed so that you are seeing stuff that you want to see. It is so easy to get dragged into looking at all the negative stuff, which can make you feel worse. So
I know I've been guilty of that before. I go down a rabbit hole and I'm like, oh.
Use the unfollow button, use the hide, use the block. Make sure that your feed is a positive place, because that will really, really help.
Okay.
Good. You've got to have that mental resilience, and that is a great way to help build that.
Yeah, resilience is a good word as well. So can we then, because obviously I want to go through some tips that we can maybe share and talk about in a bit, because obviously this podcast is all about business owners and their well-being, and obviously looking after yourself means that you can operate on fire on full cylinders. You can't pour from an empty Kong, you can't run on an empty tank. So it's about looking after your well-being, so obviously you can be the best version of yourself for your business, because otherwise if you don't look after yourself, your business is not going to be able to operate.
Yeah.
But can we just then touch on like the science of the imposter syndrome then, and
Yeah.
where does it come from? Because like you said, I think you said 2017, because I think I said at the start, in my whole corporate career in corporate banking, I never felt imposter syndrome until I trained as a dog trainer. And like, we're all, as dog trainers and behaviourists or behaviour consultants, like, we upskill ourselves so much and we do all the courses and we do all the qualifications to be the best version that we can, but then we can still feel an imposter. So where does that come from then?
There are distinct personality types in imposter syndrome. And each of those kind of sets you up to fail in a particular way, I suppose. It's not a great way to describe it, but you know what I mean. It sets you to view yourself unrealistically in a certain way.
Okay.
So these 5 personality types start with, you have the perfectionist.
That's me.
Yeah. I'm looking straight at you as I say that.
Oh,
The
God.
perfectionist
Shit.
sets themselves impossibly high goals,
Right.
which they inevitably can't reach because it is just not possible. And so because they don't reach their goals, they feel bad. And and they have to be perfect in every aspect of life. So, and another one that what you said earlier with the courses and the upskilling, the second personality type is the expert, who has to have all of the courses. They have to know everything about everything. That's me. Look, that's how I got here. They have to know all of the knowledge. And you'll so often hear people say, well, I'll feel good at what I do if I just finish that course, or if I do that course, or if I add that skill. So that's something we see an awful lot in our industry. And some education providers can play on that. This is the course. And, it's...
Yeah, that's a
that
bit
always feels
naughty, isn't
a
it?
bit odd for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Then the next personality type is the soloist, and this is the person who has to be able to do it all alone. And again, I think this is one that is really common in our industry because so many of us were solo workers.
Yes.
It's just down to us, and that you've got nobody else to please, but you've got nobody else to help you to do things. And if you do need to ask for help, the soloist will feel like they're just not good enough. And I used to be a bit like that until I got to a low point where I needed to ask for help, and help was given. And at that point, I sat down and I went, "Wow, okay, that works." And that was a really important realization for me. Like curating a newsfeed, curate your people and lean on your people, because having a community, the kind of thing that you are putting together, these safe spaces, they're really, really important.
They are. And it's really needed.
Yeah. Then personality type 4 is the natural genius. And this is the kind of person who, if they can't do something perfectly first time, no effort, feels like total failure.
Right, okay.
So, if they don't try and train this new behaviour and get it absolutely spot on first time, total failure. And I think to somebody who's not a personality type, that's not one of mine. I should point out that it's possible to have aspects of more than one of these. There are some people who have aspects of all of them.
That's interesting then, yeah.
Yeah. And then the final personality type is the super being, and this is the person who has to be perfect in every single aspect of life. Work, personal life, health, fitness. They have to be absolutely perfect in all it. That's definitely not me. That's one I can really say that is not me. But again, it's not realistic. It's not achievable because nobody can be top at everything.
I wonder if they'd be a bit annoying to people.
Possibly. I'm not sure that's one of the more common types, but it is a type. I think probably in our industry, it's the perfectionist, the expert, and the soloist are probably the 3 types that I see mostly in the people that I talk to about imposter syndrome. Those are the 3 that I encounter most commonly.
Okay. So All right. So where did it come from then? Like all of a sudden, it's like a bit of a not like a well, it is a bit of a buzzword, but where is it? I can't imagine it just being our industry either.
No,
Why all of a
it's
sudden?
it's
Yeah,
it's across all industries basically. The
yeah,
the concept itself was actually discovered in the 1970s. There was
yeah,
a couple of researchers in the 1970s. So initially, it was thought to be only women, but I think that
yeah.
probably comes from the thing of it being more prevalent in minorities, because back in the 70s, women would have been a minority in most workplaces.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they should be
Yeah,
at home and like the man's out working. Oh
yeah,
God, yeah.
yeah. It's just, yeah, I would not have survived back then. In terms of
Right.
what causes it, a lot of the time it seems to go back to how successes and failures, for lack of a better word, were handled as children.
Okay.
Because people who come from family backgrounds where success was highly valued, that can have a tendency towards, especially like the perfectionist, because
Okay.
everything about your self-worth is predicated on your exam scores, winning
Mm,
prizes, all that kind of thing. It can
mm,
also be if, as a child or as a young person, there was inconsistency in praise. So if you're sometimes praised for something, sometimes not,
oh,
that
okay.
kind of, you know how when we talk about working with dogs, we talk about it's good to be predictable, reliable. Your responses want to be the same for the same behaviours. It's exactly the same, obviously, with kids. So
Mm,
when there was this variation in the feedback and what was denoted as good or not good, that leaves with like very little in the way of guidelines of what's expected, and that can
mm,
play into it. But equally, there are people who didn't have issues like that in childhood, of which one is me. You have these
mm.
things where everyone talks about their childhood trauma, and I'm sitting there thinking, actually, my childhood was pretty darn great. I grew up and had great fun.
Yeah.
I had a lovely childhood, but still I have imposter syndrome. So
Oh, yeah.
I think, especially as time has gone on, I mean, you think about the difference in how we live now to the 70s. Um,
Mm,
I was born in 75, so
mm.
the world was very different how it was when I was born. Extremely
Okay.
different. And even people in sort of like a professional circle, unless you were on the telly or something, you weren't exposed to as many people as we are now.
Yeah.
You step onto Facebook and there's millions.
This is true. Yeah.
And I think that plays a big part in why it is more prevalent now. We're just so much more visible. You dog trainer back in the 80s, 90s, you would have been known in your local area,
Mm,
wherever your leaflets went. Or now,
yeah.
yeah, you have a website, you advertise on Facebook, and you are in front of Instagram.
It's,
You're in front of
it's a
potentially millions of people. It's
wider
very, very
reach.
different.
Yeah. Right. So it's got a lot to answer for
It
social
has
media.
social media it's great and really useful in a lot of ways, but in other ways it can make life very complicated.
Yeah. I think like it has its benefits, doesn't it, social media? But then it has its negatives as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, there are so many people I wouldn't know if it wasn't for social media. I mean, it was a long time of knowing you online before we met face to face.
Yes,
So,
I know.
social media is great from that aspect. I think you have to have controls on it. Again, we're going back to curating feed, curating your friends list, just being mindful of what you allow into your online space
Mm,
is really, really
yeah.
important. I think that's one of the tricks that I tell people to help with their imposter syndrome. Yeah. If going out and looking at these things is bothering you, don't do it.
It used to bother me and I used to get caught up in it, but now I won't. And yeah, I definitely go down a rabbit hole and I kind of now quite like strict on myself and I'm mindful of where I hang out and who I hang out with,
Yeah.
even though it's online. But so I'm just wondering then, because I do call myself a perfectionist, but I've always been told that I'm a typical male Virgo. So like I like things done a certain way. I'm very punctual, organized. Like I I don't know, like I say the word I'm a control freak sometimes because I do like things done a certain way, and you know, but then I think to myself like I overthink things a lot and I over analyze. So is that? Do you think that's a little bit linked to imposter syndrome? Is it all sort of
Yeah,
linked?
I think that certainly plays into it. I mean, you could possibly say that gives you elements of the soloist. Do you find that you just get to the point where you say, stuff it, I'm going to do it because it's just easier if I do it myself?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the soloist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a female Virgo here, as we know, as I was born only a day
Oh,
before you.
yes, you.
So you could have been describing me. When I was many years ago, when I was at agricultural college, our third year in college, we did supervisory routines where we supervised the first years doing jobs. And I quite often, my job would be to look after the students looking after the calves. The problem was that I had spent the whole summer working on the college farm, looking after these
Mm.
calves. So as soon as the students didn't do something quite right, I'll just give it here, I'll do it myself. So I'm exactly the same. I had to
Okay.
learn that. I think that was my lowest scoring module on my final year results, was the fact that I wouldn't actually let anybody else do it. So I just did it myself. So yeah, yeah. But the good news,
Uh,
there are things that we can do to kind of cut back on this influence. There are
yeah.
some sort of useful tips that I can give.
Good.
And one of them is being objective. What I
Hmm.
would advise my mentees to do is make objective lists of what you can do. So that means
Mm.
listing the courses, the things that you've done, the experience you have, anything that can objectively say that you can do this. You list that because there is
Mm.
no argument with that.
Yeah.
And you look at that and there is solid proof that you can do this. And the
Yeah.
other thing to do is when you get feedback from clients, or if you're studying from your tutor, keep that feedback somewhere, whether
Yes.
it's a Word document on the computer, whether you write it in a notebook.
I I do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. Only recently.
because it's so powerful. You go to it
It
and,
is.
this is other people telling you that you can do it. And to be honest, when you're working with clients and their dogs, who is the best placed person to tell you if you have helped them or not? It's the client,
Mm.
isn't it? So if they're coming back and saying, thank you, you've really helped us, that again, it's solid evidence that you can do this.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's another really, really important thing to do that can help. And there's a post that I put up in my Imposter Syndrome group the other day, which it talks about separating fact and thought, because
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings are not fact. So if you
Yeah.
find yourself sitting there going, I'm no good at this, you have to stop and make yourself think, I'm having the thought that I am no good at this. It makes
Interesting.
it less personal. It takes the personal attack out of it.
Mm.
So, and again, you can then go back to your list of feedback and your objective qualifications and go, well, actually, I have
Mm.
objective proof here that this is not the case.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those
I
two
love
things in
that.
particular are really, really helpful. Really help.
Yeah.
Another thing also is positive affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually having those positive thoughts of, I can do this. Sorry, I think it's birds flustered this week outside.
It's all right. Don't worry.
But yeah, I can do this. I am good at what I do. I can help people. And look at the people who you've worked with professionally and just think about how many of them you've helped. And then by extension, how many other people, because when you give a client a piece of advice, it doesn't necessarily just stay with them. They might see their friend who's just got a puppy and go, my dog trainer taught me this.
Mm.
And it actually, the effect percolates out. And
Yeah.
that can feel quite scary at first, but it's a
Yeah.
positive thing because you are putting something positive out into the world for these people and the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Brilliant. And you've just used a word that I only heard again for the first time not so long ago, and that's percolate.
That word.
What a brilliant word.
I'm,
Like
I'm a
when we were
coffee
at the
addict,
AV,
can you tell?
well, when we were at the AVK conference, it was in the evening and Rosie started saying something and someone was like, oh yeah, I'm going to let that percolate for a while. So I'm just going to let that, like you do, innit? A percolator, a coffee thing, you let it percolate. So you're just going to take some time to process it.
Just let it soak in.
Oh God, I love that word. And now I'm hearing it a lot more. So yeah, I'm my own worst critic as well. So I think that's linked to imposter syndrome. Like, I'm always like criticizing myself and that and, whatever. But yeah, I just find it all just really fascinating, just how it's all come about and, how we as dog professionals, we can suffer with it. And, you've written a book on it and, you've got people that you've helped. So I think that's really so good.
I think one thing that really stood out for me when I first started looking at it is there's another saying that the people who have imposter syndrome aren't true imposters,
Mm,
because true imposters don't have imposter syndrome. They're the ones who are out there with all that confidence, getting it wrong, but confidently.
yeah.
I think it seems to be especially prevalent on like the ethical dog training side. We care about what we do. We care about
This
the
is the
clients. We care about their dogs.
this is
And
the thing.
that by itself, it makes us more vulnerable to imposter syndrome. But
Yeah,
equally, it makes us by far the better suited people to do the job, because you need that
yeah,
empathy and that caring to be able to do the job to the best of your ability and it not be about the money.
yeah. You're right about the caring thing. I care too much, but I think it's because a lot of us we're all very heart centered and heart led, aren't we? And then that then can go into compassion fatigue, can't it? It's another
Yeah,
whole subject.
yeah. There's a lot of links with imposter syndrome being sort of playing into the compassion fatigue and the burnout. It's really, really
Mm.
important to build that self-care in there. I know you talk about that in the Wellbeing
Well,
circle. Self-care is really important. And that's
it
not just physical,
is.
that's mental as well. Taking breaks,
Yeah,
again, curating what you see, setting your world up so you see the things that make you happy, that make
mm,
you more able to do the job without that kind of, because sometimes you watch things and it's like you despair because there's just
yeah,
so much crap out there and you think, I'm only one person, what can I do? But every one of us that steps up and actually helps people and dogs, that's one more person who's getting the right messages out there. And that is an important thing to hold on to, because we're doing important work. We are. It's
yeah.
really important.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of blowing your own trumpet because no one else will. I say that a lot to my mentees and I blow my own trumpet because why not? You should
Yeah.
be able to shout about your achievements and your successes and stuff and people will cheer you on for it. I'm a big
They,
advocate of doing
they
that.
will. When you've had a big success with a case or something, talk about it with other professionals in your circle. Put it on your pages. Let
Mm,
other clients or potential clients see that, you've had these successes, because damn it, you earned those successes. When you've done
yeah.
these really incredible things, had a great result with a client, or written a book, or got somewhere on a bestseller list, any of those things, that
Mm,
is your achievement. And it is really, really
yeah.
important that take the time to appreciate it. The fact that
Mm,
you've done these great things, and shout about it, because there might be the odd person that will say something negative, but pretty darn
oh,
sure that
screw him.
they will be, just hide their comment, and they have no
You
idea what's
literally
going
took
on.
you took the words out my mouth. Hide the comment.
Yeah. More people will come along and say, yay, well done you.
Yeah, they wanna champion you. So I was gonna say, yeah, like award wins and stuff like that. So it shouldn't be about sort of seeking an external validation, should it? You should be able to
No,
shout
that's
about?
something that often plays into it. Is people get reliant on external validation, but equally, when this external validation turns up, don't hide it.
Mm,
Don't hide your light under a bushel. Isn't that the old saying?
yeah,
When you get these things that do come up, and yes, it's external validation, but enjoy it. Don't
enjoy
rely
it.
on
Yeah.
it, but enjoy these positive things when they come.
I'm a big advocate in sort of not allowing people to dull your sparkle as well. Yeah, never let anyone dull your sparkle. Jay, we're going to start wrapping up this episode because I've absolutely loved it. But do you have like a final thought or a final tip, words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners about imposter syndrome?
Any other tips? But I will say the first thing to do is to go and make those objective lists and start
Mm,
collecting that positive feedback and those wins, because those two documents, whatever you do, whether you save them on your computer, you write them down, print them out on a bit of paper and stick them on the wall over your desk, those two lists are a massive part of getting your brain to realise that, yes, that little niggling voice might be there, but it's wrong.
yeah,
So having that concrete thing to look at,
something
yeah,
tangible.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all objective. It's not you saying, well, I can do this, that, and the other. It's stuff that cannot be taken away from you because there's nothing subjective about it.
I screenshot all my reviews, but even nice comments or feedback people said about me. Obviously, I've been doing a lot more of putting myself out there, obviously, this year, haven't I? Because I'm hosting podcasts and I'm speaking, but I've just been screenshotting comments, feedback, reviews, because it's then gone into what I call a reviews treasure chest, because that's mine to, well,
Yeah.
it's if I'm feeling a bit down and I'm going to read them, it's going to make me feel better.
I have a little folder on my desktop called Confidence Boost.
There you go. Confidence
And
boost.
like good
Reviews,
book
treasure chest.
reviews, you know, comments, like you say, anything like that goes in there. And if I'm having a day where I'm a bit meh, just going to have to scroll through
Yeah,
that and it's all okay, I can do it.
that's it. Because they sometimes people say you put like little comments in a jar and then open the jar like
Yeah.
or something once a month or at the end of the year. Brilliant. Jay, this has been such an honest and reassuring chat. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. I know that so many pet pros, pet business owners listening are going to feel a lot less alone after hearing this conversation. Where can our listeners find out more about you and your work, please?
Well, they can find me. Oh, I have a website that is at jaygurden.com, which has got details of all my books, or goodguardianship.com, which also has details. That has my behaviour work and my books.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm also on Facebook pages with both of those names, so they can find me at
Yeah.
any one of those.
And obviously you've got the mentorship for book, like aspiring book authors, right? I don't know what the right word is. I couldn't get the right word earlier, but
I do.
what is it?
It's called Paws and Pens, and yeah, it's a
Oh, is
mentorship.
it?
Yeah,
Paws and
yeah.
pens. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love a bit of alliteration, as you'll have seen with Conquering Confidence. And yeah, that details for that are on my Facebook pages and also on the websites. I
Yeah.
actually have a mentoring program also for people who are struggling with imposter syndrome.
Do
So
you?
yeah,
Right.
I
Okay.
have a Facebook support group, which
Yes, you did say that.
yeah, I can give you the details of that if you want to put it in the program notes. Where
Yeah.
it's just sort of, it's like the little boost of confidence. If
Yeah.
anyone's really struggling, they can go in there and they get support.
That's really good.
So
Yeah, that will come. I think that will be really handy because obviously the pet business wellbeing circle is all about supporting each other. And, you know, if you need to have a little rant or you need some words of wisdom and just to basically make people like realize it's okay to look after yourself and your self-care and your well-being. So no, send me the links to your groups, but obviously I will put your websites in the show notes, but send me those links as well and I can pop them all in the show notes as well.
yeah, I think an important thing to remember is, especially when you're running a business, particularly when you're on your own, you are your most important resource. So you've got to look after yourself, because if you don't have yourself, you've got nothing.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Right, we'll end it there, but Thank you so much. That was brilliant, Jay. I've absolutely loved chatting to you today. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Great. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Pet Business Wellbeing podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat, I'd love it if you could share this with a friend, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and please leave me a review as it really helps us to reach more pet professionals that need this kind of support. Until next time, take care of yourself, look after your well-being, and remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about building a business that you actually enjoy being in. Bye for now.